Welcome back to part 3 of the Forgotten City. Let me click continue immediately because this thing has to load for 10-15 minutes. Maybe I should have done this before I started. It's fine. We'll be fine. It's Thursday. It's always a good thing. One more day till it's weekend. I don't like to wish my time away, but I do love the weekend. I'm not gonna lie. Not having to work. It's not such a bad thing.
Thank you. Thank you. I am delighted and deeply honored to have been elected your magistrate. Magistrate. Yes. Thank you. I'm delighted and deeply honored to be elected your magistrate.
This is where it started.
And now, I make this solemn promise to you, good citizens.
Oh, I died here the last time, that's why.
And now, I make this solemn promise. Did you just leap into my villa from the balcony 100 feet above?
I did.
That was either extremely reckless or impressively clever. Well, why have you risked life and limb to see me?
So you are Quintus Asian, yeah. I won't kill him this time, I learnt from my mistakes.
My name is Marcus Malleolus Gurgis. You seem to have confused me with someone else.
You have one green eye and one blue eye, just like the description in this execution order from Emperor Nero.
You mean my heterochromia? I am guilty of nothing more than having different colored eyes. And I'm hardly the only person with the condition. Alexander the Great had it too, as it happens. I like to think it is simply the way the gods have chosen to mark a natural-born ruler. Nothing more.
So humble. Wait, what did I select yesterday? Apparently Quintus also suffers. I can prove it's you. I can't prove it's you yet, but I will. My mistake, never mind. I'll pick option 2 this time.
Well, I am not suffering from any delusions, as today's election will firmly establish.
I can't prove it's you yet, but I will.
Unlikely, because it simply isn't true. Now, was there something else you wanted?
I want you to withdraw from the election.
Are you insane?
Am I doing the same things I did
Barge into
yesterday?
my villa, uninvited, and then make outrageous demands? Why would I withdraw from an election I'm bound to win?
Okay, this time I'm not gonna threaten to kill him. Never mind.
You are acting very strangely.
Do you know anything about Scintilla's disappearance? That's the other governor's daughter, by the way.
Of course not. But as I always say, if Sentius can't protect his daughter, how can we trust him to protect this city?
What aren't you telling me?
Look, if you're trying to find her, you may wish to check the cisterns beneath this villa. Domitius says he saw a body there some weeks back. Of course, just to be clear, I take no responsibility for what happens to you down there.
Do you know where are you?
I'm afraid not. We're stuck down here together, for better or worse. We're all going to have to make the best of it.
I might as well go through all
You
these
mean
options.
the children's fable, exploited by Sentius to scare us all into doing what he wants? Wait, don't tell me you've fallen victim to that monster.
I did this.
Nonsense. There's no...
I'm reliving the same day over and over again. The golden rule is broken each time.
What? Oh, I see what's happening here. Another poor, vulnerable soul taken in by Sentius's machinations. He won't get away with this much longer.
Sentius keeps... So Sentius activates the portal, because we saw him in the last episode running towards the room where the portal's in. And when he opens the portal, he turns to, like, bone. Why does that happen? We need to chat to Sentius. I can see nothing.
True,
So
but
he's going
that
to
is
convince
simply
you.
because you are mistaken.
I'll be going now.
I trust you can see yourself out. Through the door this time. There's a key just beside it.
A Greek statue of a lion. Okay, so... Was this the key you spoke about yesterday? That I didn't see. I do apologize if it is. Okay, now we have access to this place. I do apologize. See, what happened was I was being attacked and everything was grey and I just didn't see it. You blame me?
Thank you. Thank you. I am delighted and deeply honored to have been elected your magistrate. Magistrate, yes. Yes, thank you. I am delighted and deeply honored to be elected your magistrate. And now... and now, I make
Is there a reason that I can come up here?
Good citizens. And now, I make this solemn promise to you, good citizens. Under my leadership, you will finally enjoy the freedom
Will I
you
die?
deserve. And, yes, no more shall you walk on...
Oh no, I'm back here. Oh no.
Eggshell, yes. No more...
This is where you...
Eggshells, fearing simply to live and breathe because the time...
Do you think this key opens that other room? Because that door was also locked. This is where I committed Sudoku last time. There's so many things I need to do. Remember the first mission? There was that chick that I needed to heal with the resin thing. This dying gasp. I've restarted the day and now I'll need to get to Lucretia with the Sulfium. What the area where... not this area here. I probably could. But to what end? Like what if I survive that? I don't think it ever goes away. I need to find that temple thing, I think. I'll go back to that crying... Should I just do it
As
now?
always, priestess.
Any news about Sentilla, Navia, or Kabash?
No sign of any of them, I'm afraid.
Let me do it now. It's upstairs. And where's the stairs? Down the side here. Let's see if this key opens that crying lady's door.
What do you want?
Nice.
I'm not supposed to be in here.
Not bad, I'll be going now. I know. Where do you keep your valuables, really?
Talk. What business could you possibly have with me?
Why are you locked in this room?
My marital affairs are no concern of yours. Thank you very much.
How would you like some help getting back at Malleolus?
An intriguing proposition. Go on.
I have some poison. That might do the trick. I don't think Malleolus is who he says he is.
Perhaps you're not as silly as those clothes make you look. What makes you say that?
Just had a hunch. I was hoping we could figure out his true identity together.
You know, I may have the very thing you're looking for. Some time ago, when he still cared for me, he wrote me a love letter. Only he used the wrong name. Now, addressing one's wife by the wrong name is not unheard of among philandering Romans. But in this case,
We've all been there.
the name he got wrong was his own. I confronted him about it, and he stammered through some incoherent response. I let it go, eventually, and yet questions have lingered in the back of my mind ever since. But wait a minute. Why exactly are you helping me?
Oh, I'm a woman, I forgot. I want to force him to withdraw from the election.
To withdraw? Listen, I may not be Penelope to his Ulysses, but to ruin his plans to become a magistrate? You must think me quite mad. I've heard enough. Get out of here at once. Domitius, come quickly. We're being robbed.
Wow. Oh. It's a lot of dough. I'm actually gonna rob her.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
I need this time loop to reset. And I want the money. Sentias! Open the portal, bro. I dodged that like Matrix, man. Let's go. Send me to the future. Actually, to the past. Okay. Wait. What's my plan here? I wanna finish this thing. I'm like one tick away. And I need to persuade this dude. Maybe the guy that I got the bow from initially can take care of Malleus for me, because now I know who he is. But to do that, I can't tell Garius to tell Fabia to not do the thing. I have to do it myself. I don't know, what story should I try and play out first? It's... Okay, I'm gonna try and do this one. Let's just go for the dying gasp. Hilarious.
Salve, friend. Mind telling me... Oh, sounds serious. I'm listening. Alright, let me see. I'll go, but once I'm done, I'll need you to tell me how you know all of this.
Yes, yes, yes. All will be revealed. I'm again doing this with no plan. Well, I have a plan, I just don't know how to execute it because... Where the hell is this place? It's here. Wow.
What are you doing in here? Can't you see this woman is dying? She's been poisoned. She needs the resin of a plant called Silphium, but that Culus cumulatus decius won't give it to me.
I got what you need, so tell me what you need. I have the sulfium resin. Here, take a little.
What? Quick, give it here. Yulia, you need to swallow this. Here, let me help you. Hopefully, in a moment, she should be able to breathe normally. That was extraordinary. How did you know she needed this exact thing, and at this exact moment? Are you some kind of oracle?
I have a gift. I heard she got sick earlier and went to find medicine. I have a gift of lying.
But how could you know she needed this exact medicine? And how did you even get it? I guess it doesn't matter. You just saved a person's life, and you should be proud
Medic
of yourself.
achievement
She
unlocked.
might even be able to thank you herself in a few moments. And maybe she can tell us who poisoned her, and who she meant when she was muttering about that snake's cruel black eyes. In the meantime, I'm happy to help you with whatever it is you need.
What the hell's going on outside? Can we talk about Lulia?
Sure. What do you want to know?
Do you think she was poisoned or was it self-inflicted?
Do you really want to know? I mean, if somebody poisoned her, then surely they would have broken the golden rule, and so maybe it's best we don't discuss it.
Okay, let's talk about something else
Gladly.
then. What's your story? Let's
I'm
find out.
Lucretia, and I'm going to be straight with you. I'm not a physician. This is Nevia's clinic. I've just been filling in ever since she disappeared. I'm tired and out of my depth and miserable all the time. But I'd rather take this on myself than let one of you lot mess it up.
How did you end up here? I don't care about that so much. Why are you working out of a shrine?
Oh, this shrine was in use as a clinic long before any of us arrived here. Kind of strange to set up a clinic in the temple of the god of disease. But the god who inflicts a curse is also the only god who can undo it. So I suppose praying to Apollo for healing kind of makes sense.
Tell me about Navia.
Well, she used to run the clinic. She was a midwife, not a physician, but she was the closest thing we had down here. And she was good too. Until she suddenly lost all interest in us. One day she told me she'd made some profound discovery about the golden statues. This changes everything, she kept saying. But I had no idea what she was talking about. The last time I saw her, the last time any of us saw her, she was muttering to the statues, like she could talk to them. And then she shut herself in the palace, barred the door from the inside, and nobody's seen her since. She's been gone so long now, we figure she's either dead or up to something so strange that she doesn't want anyone else to know about it. But I really wish I could reach her, because that's the only hope I have of solving a troubling problem, a real thorn in the paw situation. One of my patients is suffering from terrible rheumatism. His joints are inflamed and he's in constant pain.
Who?
I really shouldn't say. He wouldn't like it. And he's a little bit scary. He's become so irritable that the smallest things set him off. And I worry he'll end up losing his temper and lashing out. And you know what that means. I just know Navia would know how to treat him, assuming she's still alive. But nobody seems to know how to get into the palace.
Is she talking about Rufius? Is that why he's so angry all the time? Actually, I already figured out the treatment for rheumatism.
You did? That's unexpected. But tell me, what is it?
Willowbark.
Willowbark. I should have known. It was under my nose the whole time. That's very helpful. Thank you. If this works, it should settle Rufius down some. I have some right here. Could you do me a favor and give him some of this? He'll just need to swallow a pinch of it. I'm hoping it will avert disaster.
Alright, I can do that.
Thank you. I'm really glad you arrived when you did.
Let's just go through these, I
I
guess.
wish. Some people here need proper medical care, not the half-baked, hanging by a thread excuse for treatment I'm giving them. Just don't get sick or injured here. I'll do my best to treat you, but I'm out of my depth and dangerously short on everything you can imagine.
What do you think about the golden rule?
A city without sin might sound good on paper, but whoever dreamt it up didn't think it through. Maybe it was an attempt to create some kind of utopia. But snakes like Decius will always find loopholes to exploit. And what can we do about it? Absolutely nothing. In some ways, we are worse off because we can't take the law into our own hands.
I keep hearing the statues whispering. Is that normal?
Oh no. Sorry, I don't mean to worry you, but no, that is definitely not normal. There was one other person who claimed she could hear the statues talking to her. But that was Navia, and she went a little mad.
Do we have to go back to Navia in that castle? Because that was a long run we had to do.
Well, she used to run the clinic. She was a midwife, not a physician, until she suddenly but I one of my
Go on.
he's become so irritated.
Okay.
Thanks, I suppose.
I'm going now.
That's a shame. Thanks again for saving Julia's life. Apollo smiles upon you.
Okay, let's go to Rufius. Maybe I'll stop harassing the other dude.
Name's Rufius. Better watch your step.
About your rheumatism.
What business is that of yours?
I figured out the treatment. Eat a pinch of this willow bark and you should feel better in no time.
Willow bark. And this will work? Oh, thank God. Finally, some relief. This is what I've been praying for. Maybe God hasn't abandoned me after all. Thank you. I've been in a lot of pain lately. The rheumatism, these cursed statues always watching, and the crisis of faith.
Who's you?
It was too much. Started messing with my head.
Okay.
This is exactly what I needed to set it straight again. I owe you one. No idea what you're talking about? Look, I haven't been at my best lately. I know that. It's the rheumatism. It starts with constant pain in all your joints. Then the pain starts to mess with your head. Makes you angry, mean. I know that's not an excuse for how I acted. But it's the truth. But with the willow bark, I'm already starting to feel like myself again. And I know I said I owe you one. So I'll leave him alone from now on. It's not as if I was ever going to hurt him anyway. I was just lashing out. I'm going to go and clean up the graffiti. Just forget this ever happened. Will you?
Alright, no problem. We are burning through these things. Wow.
Ah, a fellow traveler from a faraway land.
Where is he? Virgil. Oh, it's you.
Ah, a new face. Salve, and welcome to a little community.
Oh, I haven't met him in
My name's impossible to pronounce for most people,
this loop.
so you can just call me Virgil. I hear we have you to thank for saving Julia's life. I'm glad you arrived when you did.
Don't worry about the threats, it's just Rufius, and he's never going to hurt you.
What demon or spirit told you about that?
Found an incomplete note in his house.
You went snooping in his place? That was risky. We're lucky you didn't cross any lines. Have you spoken to him about it?
Yes, and he won't be bothering you anymore.
Really? How did you manage that?
I found a treatment for his rheumatism, which was making him agitated and compounding some other personal issues.
Poor fellow. I've heard that can really mess with a person's head. Well done for figuring that out.
Happy to help. I think he wants to help clean up his graffiti too.
Really? That's promising. I'll keep an eye out for him.
Who are you going to vote for?
Well, Malleolus is talking about loosening some of the restrictions in this place. And while it's all a bit vague, at least he has a vision.
Anything I can do to change that, perhaps?
My vote isn't for sale, if that's what you're asking.
I'll be going now.
Nice to talk to you.
Citizen.
Oh, just talking about you. Rightio, we burned through those ones. That's good. Good start. I still need to find the priestess. I think I need Galerius for that. Figure out how to get into the upper cistern. Get Dooley's key. Yeah, that's another thing. I need to. Okay, I'm gonna do that one now. Find evidence linking Malleus to the name Quintius. Figure out how to make Malleus drop out of the election. Ask Quitia to call the election. Perhaps I can make it happen sooner. Persuade Galerius to run for magistrate. Figure out how to get Galerius elected. Okay, let's do this. Let's give this to Galerius. Tell him to go confess his love. And then follow him to find the priestess. I don't think that's gonna work though. Very easy. He was here the last time. If he's not here, he'll be by Fabia. I have the flower from the previous loop. So even though it respawns, I still have it. Hey. What the heck is my dude? Galerius. Where the hell did he go? He would have come here. That's Dullius. Dully, whatever his name is. Where is it? is he there and I just can't see him? Wow. I do apologize for wasting your time.
Fortune
Yo.
smile on. Salve again, friend. I went and did as you asked, and it worked.
Just a lucky guess.
Ah. Good one. But seriously, how did you know?
You're better off not knowing.
That's a shame. Now everybody's gonna think I'm some kind of oracle for knowing the future before it happens, and I have no way of explaining it.
Why would they
Hey,
think
maybe
that?
the patricians will start treating me with a bit more respect. But then again, probably not. All right, I'll leave you to it, friend.
No. I'm not
I saw
done
you
with
slide
you.
down that rope before. Very impressive. And strange, too, since that device you used is exactly the same as one I've been working on for weeks. There I was, thinking I'd invented it. Anyway, I'm sorry to ask, but is there any chance you'd be willing to do me a favor?
What do you need?
Well, I've been trying to get this rare flower from the rock spire in the middle of the lake. It's too steep to climb, so do you think...
I already have an identical flower.
Really? You already have it? That's impressive. You're just a step ahead, aren't you? This is going to make her so happy. Equitia, I mean. Now I just have to figure out how to give it to her. What I really want to do is walk up to her, give her the flower, but on the other hand,
What's the worst it could happen?
You mean, aside from her execution? You see, Equitia is a Vestal priestess, meaning she's taken of... Even if she was... I don't know.
Okay. You'll be fine, Galerius, and she'll be fine. Time will reset, so no worry. I think you should tell her how you feel. Consequences be damned.
Now that I hear you say that out loud, I hear how crazy it is. I think maybe I need to be a bit more cautious.
No, just go.
What I need is a go-between. Someone who can tell her how I feel and find out how she feels without risking her life.
I'm that someone.
What do you say? Do you think you could help me one more time?
Oh, yes. Alright.
Wonderful! Now, all I need you to do is give her the flower and tell her it's from a secret admirer. Tell her I'll keep my distance and that I just want her to know that she's loved.
That's sweet, I'll do it. That's corny, but alright, I'll do it. I like him, I'm gonna be mean to him, it's sweet, bro.
Thank you. Come back as quick as you can and tell me what she says.
Okay, where is she? I was hoping you would lead me to her. Let's get some golden eggs just in case. Where is she? Actually, a map. That would be so handy. I think mosquitoes are biting me now. Priestess. Galerius is secretly in love with someone in the city and has asked for my help. Aquisha. If you know where Aquisha is, by all means. Aquisha. No, that was Claudia.
Keep an eye out for Scintilla. Greetings, citizen. My name's Horatius. Magistrate Sentius asked me to escort you to him personally. Follow me, please.
I think she is in one of the temples, but all of it looks quite temple-y, so I don't know which one. Actually, let me just go. Let me chat to this guy. I've been ignoring him for a long time.
The only thing you really need to understand right now is the Golden Rule. Let me see if I can explain it this way. and I was serving in the Legion. If there was a mutiny brewing in one cohort, the legate in charge wouldn't waste time finding the bad apples among hundreds. They just divided us into groups of 10, made us draw straws, and whoever drew the short straw had to be executed by the other 9. Didn't matter whether he'd done anything wrong.
Who's this?
One of us in 10 would die for the crimes of the collective.
I think that's her.
We call it decimation. If that seems like rough justice to you,
Citizen?
you're in for a rude shock. Because the Golden Rule is exactly 10 times worse. The magistrate can explain the rest. Who's up these stairs?
He literally just... There he goes. I'm gonna let the magistrate be on his way. Let me just explore here. Who are you? Are you a Quisha?
Oh, I wish Horatius would stop letting barbarians in here.
Oh, goodness.
What do you want?
What's your story?
I'm Sentia, eldest daughter of the magistrate. But you'd know that if you'd been invited in here and introduced properly. What are you doing in here? And why are you dressed like that?
I'm not from around here.
Really? I'd never have noticed, what with your flawless accent, appropriate attire, and impressive mastery
Oh,
of
she's
our
a
customs.
B1.
Now, remind me,
TCH.
why are we having this conversation?
You know where I am.
Ugh, what is it with you people? You heard the rumor that my little sister escaped and figure I must know a way out too. Is that it? Well, that's just a stupid rumor. We have no idea what happened to Scintilla. I wish you mouth breathers would just leave me alone.
What? Can I help?
I don't know. Can you? Can you tell me how a person could have disappeared from a city with no exits and no crime? Was she snatched away by the Harpies?
She was turned into a golden thing and she's trapped. Sentius? Sentia? Scintilla? Why are your names all so similar?
You really aren't from here, are you? All Roman women are named after their fathers. I think it's their way of branding us, like cattle to be sold at market. His family name is Sentius, so I'm Sentia because I'm the eldest. And my little sister is formerly Sentia Minor, but she is affectionately known as Scintilla.
When else did you see her?
It was 3 weeks ago. We ate our evening meal together, and I remember she seemed happy. In love. We went into our rooms, I went to sleep, and when I woke up, she was gone. That's it.
She was seeing someone?
I think so, yes. But she was very careful about keeping his identity a secret.
That was
Even from me.
What's that guy's name? The guy that committed Sudoku, that uninstalled life. Anyway, why did she keep it a secret?
Because our father had plans to marry her off, eventually, and even a rumor about her attachment to some mystery man might have ruined those plans.
Is it possible her lover was involved?
I don't know, but it's been 3 weeks since she disappeared, and he hasn't come forward. That might speak to a guilty conscience. All I know is, whoever he is, he's still here in the city.
We know who he is, chat. You look surprisingly relaxed about your sister's disappearance.
I hope you're not insinuating I'm somehow pleased with her disappearance.
Are you?
Ugh, you're awful. Get out of my villa and never speak to me again.
Should have bluffed. Regrets. I have a few. Let me just... Cynthia's journal. Dear summary. Cynthia believes everyone is entitled to their secrets. I hope you don't care to read all of that. Summary. Scintilla writes that she has decided to escape. Maybe I can give the note to the guy that's on top, and he'll think that she's not dead, she just escaped, and that'll stop him from jumping to his death. I know the magistrate's not here, unless he came back while I was... Scintilla expresses gratitude to Sentius for adopting her? So it's not his real daughter. Could have been dangerous. Parkour is not one of my strong suits. My legs.
I hope you have a good reason for flouting my weapons ban.
I do.
We're finally alone. I assume you already know who I am. May I know your name?
I'm Monresha.
A curious name. To match a
take that back.
Accent. But I digress. Now, you're probably wondering why I summoned you, and I'll get to that. But first, take a look at this wondrous place, would you? A secret city built deep in the mountains, many hundreds of years ago.
It's beautiful.
Indeed. More importantly, consider the miraculous community we've built here over the last 7 months. 22 complete strangers brought together by the fates, living and working together in our own little paradise.
If you want to call it that.
All that time, not a single sin has been committed. No fights, no theft, nothing. Have you ever witnessed something so extraordinary as a city without sin?
Can't say I have.
Nor could I, until I came here. But the reason for this miracle is as simple as it is terrifying. If even one person commits a sin here, every last one of us will die. You see, the builders of this place, whoever they were, left inscriptions warning, "The many shall suffer for the sins of the one." From what we can gather, breaking the law here will anger the gods and provoke a terrible punishment. Like the curses of Medusa and Midas combined, turning us all to gold. We've come to call it the Golden Rule. It's extraordinary that we've survived as long as we have, and each day I grow more and more afraid that our time in the sun is almost up. And now it seems that day is finally here. All that matters is that somebody in this city is about to break the Golden Rule. Why else would Proserpina send you now? Unless you and I can stop them, our doom is assured. I know that's a lot to take in, and you look like you have questions. Please, ask away.
How do you keep making a portal to the past? These questions will be available later. If I do this, will you help me get back to my own time? What did you mean when you said Proserpina sent me?
You see, In my search for a way to save my people, I learned of an ancient ritual to Proserpina, the goddess of the cycle of life and renewal. It's said to open a doorway in time, so that if the unthinkable happens, one person can pass through it and travel back to the past. And when I saw you arrive in a flash of light from the goddess's shrine, I knew that person was you. You don't belong in our time, do you?
You're right. I'm from 2,000 years in the future.
2,000 years? That is unfathomable. Please, tell me, in your time, what did you see? What had become of us? Of this city?
You'd all been turned into gold stashes.
I have imagined it, our downfall 1,000 times, but it still breaks my heart to hear the truth of it.
How does the ritual work?
All I can tell you is that it's a ritual sacrifice to Proserpina. I stumbled across instructions.
He's sacrificing
I have
himself.
to recite a prayer, and of course, as with all
That's why it
rituals,
turns to
some
bones.
sacrifice is involved. Usually that means wine or food, or in some cases a live animal. In this case, the sacrifice is rather more costly. The life of the person performing the ritual. I don't suppose you saw any sign of me in the future?
I did see human remains in the temple.
I assume that was me. If I'm forced to perform the ritual, it's going to cost me everything. You'll try to make sure I don't need to use it, won't you?
I'll do my best.
Well, I suppose that's all I can ask for.
What counts as a sin here?
An intelligent question. There was a good deal of debate about that in our first weeks here. Does it refer to crimes, or to some other ill-defined wrong? Of course, everyone agrees on the basics. No theft, no assault, and certainly no murder. But beyond that, it was more difficult to reach a consensus. What about lying, insulting someone, blasphemy, trespass, trying to escape, bribery, infidelity, suicide? As magistrate, I had to exercise leadership, and so I made a decision. We must uphold the laws of the Empire to a standard never before seen. And we must honor the peace of the gods, the sacred accord between the gods and the people of Rome. It is only by offering the gods the proper respect that we may prosper, as Rome has for centuries.
I'm not sure that's a good idea. What is legal isn't always moral, and many of your laws and customs are considered barbaric where I'm from.
Barbaric? Barbaric? What are you talking about? The Empire is the most civilizing force in the known world. Rome is a beacon of light in the darkness. For 800 years she has borne great statesmen, philosophers, poets, artists, and engineers. We have comprehensive laws protecting the rights of our citizens, which have unified countless warring tribes all across the Mediterranean and beyond, from Gallia to Judea. All our citizens are treated the same, regardless of the color of their skin or their sexual preference. Can you say the same? When our people are starving, they are given food rations, and when they are wronged, they have the right to bring the guilty party before the magistrate. Our laws forbid treason, murder, assault, and rape, as well as theft and arson, and so on. No other civilization in the world is so advanced, and you have the hubris to call us barbaric?
Don't your laws allow slave ownership? Don't your people watch blood sports for entertainment? Don't women have fewer rights than men? Don't you persecute Christians? Don't you practice collective punishment? My mistake.
I have made my pronouncement on the subject. Unfortunately, there are still those here who resist, whispering blasphemous and treasonous lies in the shadows. I would be keeping a close eye on them if I were you.
Why can't you investigate?
Well, I believe you're in the best position to go around asking people questions. You're new here, and it'll seem perfectly normal. As for me, well, it pains me to say my attempts to impose order have not earned me many friends. I fear I may not even remain magistrate after today's election. The people here would only treat my curiosity with suspicion. You shouldn't have that problem, though, unless, of course, you get off on the wrong foot.
Fair enough. Do you have any suspects?
Do you ever stare at a problem for so long that you can't see it for what it is anymore? What's needed here is a fresh pair of eyes. The less I prejudice the independence of your investigation, the better.
Come on, tell me what you really think.
Well, all right. There are those who wish to vote me out of office so that they can pursue their own misguided political agenda. Frankly, their selfishness and recklessness risk destabilizing the entire city. I would be looking very carefully at them if I were you.
I can understand each other. I don't speak Latin.
You mean you couldn't speak Latin before you arrived here? How strange. But the gods are active here, and their temples and shrines hum with power like nowhere else in the Empire. Perhaps when Proserpina brought you here, she planted the seed of Latin in your mind so that you could better serve her.
Perhaps.
An unbeliever, then? If you come up with a better explanation, I'll be interested to hear it.
If I do this, will you help get me back to my own time?
If I understand Proserpina's ritual correctly, that problem should take care of itself. Let me see if I can explain. If you manage to prevent the sin that breaks the Golden Rule, I won't need to bring you here. I won't create the portal, and you will never have been able to come here. Thus, you'll have created a paradox. If this occurs, you should be flung back to your own time, having changed the past for all of us. Make sense?
That makes perfect sense. That's all the questions I had.
Ah, good. So, are you with me? Can I count on you to figure out who's about to break the Golden Rule?
Doesn't seem like I have much of a choice.
No, I don't suppose you do. But I'm hoping that even if you're not burdened with a sense of self-sacrifice, you'll at least see the sense in self-preservation.
Good point. I mean...
Wonderful. Now, I need you to investigate the city, talk to everyone, help them if it'll win their trust. I authorize you to enter private homes and inspect possessions and documents, unless, of course, you're asked to leave. Figure out who the culprit is, and as soon as you have a name, come back and tell me immediately. Thank you, and good luck. Our lives are in your hands.
Tell Cynthius you suspect Lucretia.
Ah, you've returned. Do you have any news about your investigation?
Can we talk about who's going to break gold? Check all those main goals that's coming up. I was supposed to chat to this guy first, and I'm speaking to him like quite late in the story. I'd like you to release...
You mean Duilius?
Duilius.
Releasing him is out of the question, I'm afraid. That man is a liability we simply cannot afford. Perhaps you're not aware he was caught multiple times, sneaking around in places he should not have been.
Exactly.
Look, I can see where you're going with this. You think me cruel. I assure you that is not the case. You may not be aware of this, but It was not so long ago, during the Republic, the law of the 12 Tables would have required that he be killed as soon as he was born, owing to his deformities. Here we see to it that he has food, water, and shelter, and most importantly, he is able to continue living. A privilege that would be taken away from all of us were he to be released and commit the crime of trespass. The man has no self-discipline, poor comprehension of what is going on around him, and is an incorrigible rule breaker. I will not jeopardize the lives of my people so that one man can go free.
Mother Russia has arrived.
Was there something else?
Can we talk about who's going to break the Golden Rule?
Of course. What is it?
I think I know it is, never mind. I've already figured out how to stop at least one person from breaking it. What happens now?
Well, if you stopped one person from breaking it and you're still here, then there must be someone else about to break it still. Allow me to explain. When I discovered the ritual to Proserpina, the instructions came with a warning about paradoxes. The crux of it is this. If you do anything to change the course of history in such a way that your very being here is impossible, you will have created a paradox. To illustrate, when the Golden Rule is broken, I will open the doorway that will bring you here to prevent it from being broken. If you manage to succeed in saving our lives, then I will have no reason to open the doorway, and you will never have come here. A paradox, you see? The same thing would happen if you, say, inadvertently, allowed me to die. If I can't summon you, then you can't be here, obviously. If either of those things were to happen, I am given to understand you would be flung back to your original time, having changed the course of history for us and yourself. So the fact that you are still here means someone is going to break the Golden Rule, and there is yet work to do. Understand?
I think so.
Excellent. So, it looks like you'll have to continue your investigation. Now, was there anything else you wanted to ask?
I was hoping to ask you some questions about my investigation. That's all the questions I had.
Now, was there something else you wanted to discuss?
Better get back to it.
Thank you. I'll be waiting here for news.
Who do I think did it? The other guy's up there. Eulipius, whatever. Let's stop Eulipius from killing himself. Isn't there a quicker way up there? I gotta run all this way, man.
Malve friend. Welcome.
And
All
it is
right,
a two.
well, it was lovely to meet you. I look
Ulpius.
forward to getting to know you better over the coming months. And if you ever...
I can't believe this is how it ends.
Oh no. No. No, 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 no. Ulpius, what are you doing? Get back from there. If you lose your balance, you'll fall.
That's the idea.
What? Why? Why would you want that?
Why do you think I'm stuck for the rest of my life?
I know. Please.
I'm sorry.
Please, help him. If he goes through...
I'll talk to him.
Thank you. And please.
Is this what Scintilla would want?
You know about that? How is that possible? I mean, I've never mentioned it to anyone.
You'd never believe me if I told you.
Well, if you say so. You don't understand. I don't want to hurt anyone. I just want it all to be over.
Maybe I can help solve your problem.
It's too late for that. Yulia and I made a pact. And she's already swallowed hemlock this morning. If I backed out now, I'd be betraying her. I can't do that.
Julia's alive. I've already saved Lulia's life and I'd like to help you too. Lucretia was able to get some Silphium in time to save her. She's going to be fine. I'm the hero.
Oh, really? That changes things a little. But we're still in debt bondage to that monster. Unless you happen to have 2,000 denarii to pay off both of our debts.
Wait, do you need 2,000? Wait, why do you need 2,000 denarii?
Yulia and I are in debt bondage to Malleolus. We might as well be slaves. And that's how much it will take to buy our freedom back.
How do you get yourselves into so much debt?
Oh, so it's my fault. Is that it? You know what? Forget it. I am out. Wherever you are. Scintilla, my love.
This guy.
I'm sorry.
Ulpius, no!
What a bot. Was that?
That
my
was
fault?
not your fault. There's no way you could have given him what he wanted, moments after you arrived. I'll have to let everyone know what happened, and I'd best...
Damn it! Great Temple Door. Do you think the priestess is in here somewhere? How do I get in here? I could just reset time now. And now to stop him, I can just give him the money, because I have it. I have 5,000 denarius. These two are very close to being done. I can't ask Quisha to call the election because I don't know where she is. Find evidence linking Malleus to the name Quintius. I need to dig up some dirt on Malleus somehow. There's a lot to do here. Talk to Cynthia about Scintilla's escape plan. Ask the residents of the village for clues about Scintilla's disappearance. Overheard Horatius accuse Domitius of some involvement in Scintilla's disappearance. I've learned that Ulpius may know something about Scintilla. I need to get to the upper cistern somehow. Figure out to get to the upper cistern, get Dooley's key. Figure out why Livia is acting strangely. I need to chat to this priestess. Okay, It's the only thing I can do for now. So let's do this quickly. Because then I need to reset the loop. So before I reset the loop, I'm going to do some investigation. How do I get there? I need to talk to Cynthia.
Are they?
Are they? Did you say where or are they? I'm not sure.
Do I need to ask Horatius to escort you out of here? Get out, you horrid barbarian!
Ah, she won't talk to me because...
On your best behavior, I trust? What now?
I'll be going.
All right.
I need to reset the loop. Let me steal something. 17, not worth. 14. Wow. I'll take the 17 and... Wait. Hold on.
On your best behavior, I trust?
Yeah. Doesn't this guy have money upstairs? If I'm gonna steal, I wanna steal a lot. 246, that's more like it.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
I can steal it all. Gimme.
Or else must come and pass away.
Cynthia's just did some teleportation. Let's go. The worst thing now is having to run back to damn Ulpius. I wonder... Let me do that. Let me try this quickly.
Salve, friend. Mind telling... Oh, right then.
Thanks. Okay, let's go. I'm gonna go to Fabia quickly.
Ah, a fellow traveler from a faraway land.
Help! You have to do something.
I'll get right on it.
Thank you. He's still in there, somewhere. I have to hide.
I'm gonna see if I
Find
give
me
this
his
guy
empty shrine
information
and it's
about
over.
Malleus. Do not go in
What? Why?
there. Just trust me.
All right, fine. Come and find me my bakery instead. Please be careful.
So I want to see if I tell this guy
Stop
about...
right there. I'm looking for Tiberius Quinctius Crispus, otherwise known as Quinctius. Do you know where he is?
Yes, he's in the villa, right at the end of the road. He goes by Malleus now.
Thank you. For your service to the Empire, I'll let you live for now, but you'd best make sure our paths don't cross again.
So what happens now? This guy's going to kill Malleus.
Wonder how much one of these statues.
Thank you. Thank you. I am delighted and deeply honored to have been elected your magistrate.
Can we talk?
Talk.
Do you know anything about Centilia's disappearance?
The dainty little thing from next door. Of course not. As much as I despise her father, I would never lay a finger on that poor, sweet child.
Fair enough. Good luck some help getting back to Malleus.
Annie.
I don't think Malleus is.
Perhaps you're not as silly as those clothes. You know, now I confront it. I'll let it go, but
We women have to stick together.
I couldn't agree more. One hand wash it.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
That happened because Malleus is dead. Wow, this guy's trying to fight. Looks like that guy was having a hard time. Walk up. So letting him go and kill Malleus does what? Nothing. Fair enough, it was worth a try.
So? Oh.
Julia's dying, but Lucretia can't help her without the fear. Take some of it and go quickly. Rufius has been threatening Virgil, but if you give him some of this willow bark, it will treat his... I need to stop Fabia.
Alright, let me see. Stop Fabia going in, but send the new arrival to the empty shrine. Yulia? Oh no. Alright, I can do that. Poor Virgil. Poor Rufius too, I guess. Alright, got it. I'll go, but once I'm done, I'll need you to tell me how you know all of this.
This guy is he's my #1 man.
Isn't the great temple majestic?
Who are you?
A new face. Ave, and may Vesta watch over you. I'm Equitia. To watch
That's
over you with
her.
the pleasure of
She's just
visiting.
walking around. Let me just talk to her before I give her the
Oh my.
flower.
I take it people are quite direct where you're from. I suppose it's quite charming in its own way. Usually, however, you wouldn't simply march up to a Vestal priestess and without due formality or courtesy ask, "What is your story?"
Sorry, what should I have done?
The proper approach would be to arrange an introduction through a mutual acquaintance in high office, by which time you would already know how to address me. And then you would find a way to satisfy your curiosity rather more indirectly. But to be honest, I've often thought what an unnecessarily formal way to communicate that is. So, let's do it your way. You just keep being yourself and ask whatever you like. It'll be a refreshing change.
I like you, Aquisha. How did you end up here?
You know, I'm not entirely sure. But what about you? How did you end up here?
A young woman named Karen dragged me out of the river unconscious and sent me in here.
Karen, you say? And nothing about that name seemed odd to you?
It's an older name, but not a common where I'm from. It carries negative connotations where I'm from. I think I see where this is going.
You do? Well then, have you spoken with any of the others about how they arrived here too? I really think you should. Go around and ask them what they remember, and see if you notice any patterns.
I'll pause.
That is probably for the best. I wouldn't want you to suffer the same fate as Livia, after all.
What happened to Livia? Oh, here we go.
Up until a few weeks ago, she was a perfectly productive member of our little community, darning clothes and cutting hair. She was always so chatty, always seeking out newcomers and asking them where they were from and how they wound up here. And then, about a month ago, she suddenly changed. She withdrew, stopped working and became despondent, started muttering to herself. Galerius and I visited her to see how we could help, but she just looked at us with this haunted stare, called us bloodless shadows, and told us we were ignorant of some pattern. Look, it could be unrelated. Perhaps she simply fell ill. Or, as Galerius suggested, the weight of the Golden Rule was too much for her. But there is a small chance that she learned something, saw a pattern nobody else saw, and that it broke her. I just don't want to see that happen to you. So be careful, will you?
Fortune smile on you, sister.
I've never really noticed the pattern.
You have? Then what is it?
Some people mentioned the river.
Yes. I understand many of our friends were carried here by a river current. What else?
That's all I noticed.
There are definitely some common threads there. But I think we'll need at least a few to ensure we're not just seeing coincidences. Keep asking people how they wound up here. I don't want us to rush to any conclusions
That's all
yet.
the ones I skipped. I need to
Livia's
read.
fate weighs heavily on my mind, and dictates we should be sure. Yes, you should ask the others first.
Fine. Do you know where I
I
live?
don't, I'm afraid. It seems to me we're exiled here until the gods judge us, one way or another.
What do you think about the Golden
I'm quite
Rule?
sure it's the work of the gods, which is strange because they've never been particularly concerned with our misdeeds, as long as we've kept the peace of the gods. We asked for blessings, for good health, bountiful harvest, military victory, and in return, we offer praise, wine, incense, or animals.
Or animals.
But here, it seems they require much more of us. I find myself reminded of an especially pertinent tale from our great poet Ovid in his epic Metamorphoses. Would you like to hear it? It is rather long.
Is there a short version?
I suppose so. Jupiter and Mercury put a town to the test by disguising themselves as vagrants and asking for shelter there. Everyone turned them away and failed that test, except for an old couple named Baucis and Philemon, and so the gods gave them time to escape and granted them a wish, and then wiped that town off the map. Some say the moral of that story is that we must all honor the sacred rituals of guest friendship, the reciprocal obligations owed between hosts and guests. But I like to think it's that we should always show compassion for those less fortunate than ourselves.
Or perhaps it's that the gods might kill you at any moment for failing their tests, and they don't even have to tell you what the rules are. I agree.
I'm pleased to hear it.
What's the status of the election?
It must be completed by dusk, just the same as any other official business. It'll be between Sentius, the incumbent, and Malleolus, the challenger. Why do you ask?
Can I nominate another candidate? Can we start the election now? Let's talk about something else. I'd like to nominate Galerius.
I like the idea, But I know Galerius well, and his position has always been that he won't run unless Malleolus withdraws. It was only yesterday that he said to me he'd only ever run if it was absolutely necessary to make sure Sentius wasn't re-elected. So, I suppose if you'd like to see Galerius elected magistrate, you'd need to persuade Malleolus to withdraw somehow.
What's your role in the election?
I'm responsible for announcing it and making sure the procedures are followed.
Can we start the election now?
As I said, I'm planning to hold it before dusk. But I suppose I could hold it sooner, if there's a good reason.
Holding it early may prevent conflict between voters.
Yes. I have overheard some rather unpleasant arguments. The last thing we need here is additional conflict. Very well. I'll get things started right away.
Is that actually what I wanted? Elections on. Ulpius.
Salve, well... Alright.
I can't believe this is how it ends.
Oh no. No. No, 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 no. Ulpius, what are you doing?
That's the idea.
What?
Why do you think...
I know, please.
I'm sorry.
Please, I'll help him.
Alright, I'll talk to you.
Thank you. And please.
This is what Centilla would want.
You know? Well, you don't... It's too... If I...
Krisha was able to get some Sylphium in time to save her life. She's going to be fine.
Really? That changes things a little. But we're still in debt bondage to that monster.
Actually, I
Really? Wait. So, I guess you'd want me to work for you then?
No, you'd be free.
Do that for us. A couple of complete strangers.
Of course.
It seems today we're both blessed. This did not turn out how I thought.
I'm a generous man.
I never thought people like you existed.
Here's your
Thank
money.
you. I'll go and pay off our debts immediately. I just wish there was some way I could repay you. But I have nothing but the tunic on my back.
Don't worry about it.
I'll go and take care of things with Malleolus and tell Yulia the good news. Thanks again, friend. I'll never forget what you did for us.
What if I follow this dude? Speed. Wow.
Welcome.
Yulia! I'm so glad you didn't go through with it.
It wasn't for lack of trying. And now Malleolus is going to... Wait. Why do you look so happy?
We're free. Malleolus just released us and we never have to set foot in that villa again.
What? How?
The newcomer arranged it somehow.
Really? That's... incredible. Oh, what a relief. I don't know what to say.
You don't need to say anything. Just rest up, get your strength back. And we'll celebrate properly when you're ready.
I will. Thank you, Ulpius. I will.
My pleasure. Now where is Dooley? Dooley. I've been up this way.
Be careful who you trust.
Note from Navia. I'm locking myself in. Don't try to follow me. Nothing good will come of it. Oh, this is just the temple.
Be careful who you trust.
Find a creative way into the upper system. Door locked. Creative way.
Be careful who you trust.
Where are you going? Can I not shoot this? I can't jump down there now because my boy didn't break the floor with his back. Let me talk to this crazy lady, see if anything has changed. What does it say? Don't steal anything down at you, man. We have a road testing shot to finish evidently. How do I get in here?
Cerberus lifts his dribble head and lets out his threefold braying.
Livia, would you stop muttering like Medea over a cauldron? You'll scare away my customers.
They follow their trades, imitating their previous lives, but they are ignorant.
This again. You're in a world of your own, aren't you?
Just as the ocean, except but it...
Can you tell me about the pattern you saw?
You think you wish to know, but you do not. It is better for you if you remain ignorant. Pandora's box must stay closed. I'll say no more. The newly arrived are ignorant of the road before them.
Useless. Where the heck is Dooley?
Hello? Hello? Have we met before?
Do you know out of here?
You're going to let me out of here? Really?
That's not what I said. I asked if you know a way out of here.
Oh. Please. I hate it here. It makes me very sad.
The magistrate put you here for a reason.
You're mean. I don't like you.
It's fine.
Citizen, name's Rufius.
Who are you going to vote for?
Sentius, military man, knows what he's doing.
Anything I can do to change it? I'll be going
See
now.
you around.
I need to talk to everyone. She's just back at the start. Where I fell through initially.
Ah, and Ayib. Nice to talk to you.
Greetings and salutations. Greetings. I'm Georgius. It gladdens me to see another foreigner in our midst. We must stick together, you and I. And I must say, my sartorial friend, your clothing is most extraordinary. Leather boots in place of sandals, trousers with precise stitching, and such a curious design. I have traveled distant trade routes from the markets of Damascus to the farms of India, and never have I seen anyone dressed quite like you. Tell me, I must know, from which exotic part of the world do you hail?
I'm from beyond the edge of the known world.
are an explorer, like me. Wonderful. You must have many stories to share. I cannot wait to hear them. We will have much time here to get to know one another. But for now, do you require assistance? I know you do not require clothing, so information perhaps?
What's your story?
My story? How kind of you to ask. I am a tailor and I run the humble shop in the fort.
How do you end up here?
A good question. A very good question indeed. And I would be happy to tell you if only I could remember it clearly myself.
Why don't you tell me what you do remember?
I remember I had just been to Rome to sell an extraordinary selection of wares, and drowning in coin, I decided to celebrate my success. I rented a prestigious villa by the Tiber, invited over a few select friends, and we began making our way through some of the most exquisite wine money could buy. Quite a lot of it, in fact. Now, I have had visions and awoken in strange places before. I have even found myself naked in the desert sands more than once, but none of that compares to this. This time, I remember people screaming, then falling into a void as empty as time before creation, gasping for air, and then nothing. When I regained my faculties, I was lying naked by the banks of the Tiber, gods know how many miles from my villa.
Sounds like you floated down the Tiber.
Indeed. I'm lucky I was carrying a little extra weight. I believe it kept me afloat. In any case, it seems I'd been rescued and resuscitated by a benevolent stranger. I went to find firewood for his campfire, stumbled across a cave, and discovered that trapdoor temple. And here I am.
Yeah, like some people mentioned a memory lapse. That's what I needed. Why set up a tailor shop
You mean
here?
to say, with all the turmoil and terror of the Golden Rule, and so few customers, why bother setting shop at all?
Yes, more or less.
I'll tell you, it is precisely because of the Golden Rule that I wish to remind my friends of the importance of looking one's best. I say, the more of our customs we preserve down here, the more we can preserve a semblance of normality, the better our chances of keeping our heads. Don't you agree?
I suppose so.
Oh, and there is another reason too. If we all end up as golden statues for future generations to marvel at, I don't know about you, but I would like to look my best.
Let's talk about something
Anything
else.
you like.
You know way out of here.
Not so loud. What are you playing at?
Sorry, did I say the wrong thing?
Have you not been told about the last attempt?
The last attempt?
Oh, then I suppose this duty falls to me. Ah, it is a long story.
It's not as if I'm going anywhere.
Aha, you are witty. I like that. Of course, the first question any of us asks when we first arrive is, how do I escape? It is only natural after all. And scaling the chasm wall is out of the question, for it is simply too steep and too far. But as they say, if the wind fails, use the oars. And here the second option is to leave the way we came in, through the shaft above the bathhouse. See, the shaft is quite high, but if one gathered up enough wood, one could make a series of ladders and climb one's way out.
Why hasn't anyone done that yet?
They have. I am getting to that. There was an attempt made by resourceful fellows who lived here some years ago. They even decided to keep records of their escape attempt for posterity. Unfortunately, as soon as they began to carry the first ladder down the hallway, they heard a godlike voice shake the entire city, and that, tragically, is where their tale ends. So it do not even discuss it aloud.
Got it, thanks. Just 1 second. Sorry about that. I've returned. What do you think about the Golden Rule?
Ah, yes. The many shall suffer for the sins of the one. As a Greek, this is nothing new to me. It is how our gods operate.
Why do you say that?
Have you not heard the tale of the god Hades? He was the first to learn this dreadful lesson when he abducted Persephone and imprisoned her in the underworld. When Demeter, the mother of Persephone, learned of this, she did not punish Hades, the guilty one. Instead, she changed the climate of Earth so that it became hot and dry. Nothing grew. The grain turned to empty husks and the rivers dried up. Innocent people died by the tens of thousands until at last the other gods were forced to act, lest they have no worshippers left. So yes, we know this rule. This has always been the case. The Golden Rule has merely brought it into focus.
What can we do about it?
If we are to survive, I say we must each heed the simple wisdom of Thales of Miletus, first of the 7 sages of Greece, who said, "Avoid doing what you would blame others for doing."
Sounds simple enough.
Does, doesn't it? But it is not enough for us to do this alone. For even if 99% of us adopt this principle, that will never be enough. Sadly, no matter how well we protect ourselves, the life's work of many good people can be undone in the blink of an eye by a single selfish act.
I know, I've seen it happen.
Ah, the voice of experience. I am sorry for your loss, my friend. But on a lighter note, I will say one thing for the Golden Rule. For all their grim and haunting poses, these golden statues do make magnificent models for my clothing, do they not?
Who are you going to vote for?
That, my friend, is quite the dilemma. But after some reflection, I'm leaning toward voting for Malleolus. I do not enjoy the thought of another visit from Domitius if I voted the wrong way.
Anything I can do to change that?
Nothing comes to my mind, my friend.
We'll be going
I
now.
hope that our paths cross again soon, my friend.
Okay, we've uncovered some more.
This part of my shop is off limits, even for you, my sartorial friend.
Okay, who else have I spoken to? Oh, he actually dressed this thing. Wow.
Salve. Hello there, friend.
I took it from Shrine of Diana. I need to discover you locked me inside with angry hornets. I managed to escape, and after heading a deal in the palace and traveling back in time, here I am.
Are you well, stranger? Have you...
Who are you going to vote for?
Malleolus. I mean, Sentius couldn't even keep his daughter safe. What hope does he have of protecting us?
I'd like you to vote for Sentius.
Not going to happen. Very well. Another time.
Okay. This man needs to find his daughter. And that other guy threatening people needs to go.
Salve and welcome. All right. Thanks again for taking care of our problem.
My pleasure. Anyone else I haven't spoken to yet? Where is Galerius?
Citizen. You. See you around.
I'll be going now. Bye.
Shalom.
Can we talk about Scintilla?
Scintilla and I were in love. And then, 22 days ago, she went missing.
Why don't you start from the beginning?
All right. One night a few months ago, when I was cleaning Malleolus's villa, I heard a young woman singing. It was the most beautiful thing I had ever heard. I wasn't allowed out, so once everyone else was asleep, I climbed up the inside of the villa and onto the roof, just to see where that sound was coming from. And that's when I saw her. Standing in the garden of the magistrate's villa, I just sat there on the roof, listening to her with my chin on my knees. And for the first time in a long time, I felt hopeful. And then she looked up and saw me, and she smiled. I knew at that moment the fates had brought me to her, and from the moment she asked my name with this warmth and curiosity, I knew I'd have done anything for her. And so for weeks on end, each night I'd climb out of the villa and into her father's garden. We'd hold hands and talk about all the things we'd do once we got out of here, like having our own vineyard. And then one morning I woke up and everyone was out searching for her. They said she'd vanished in the night. All I could do was keep my head down and try to hide how beside myself I was.
Is it possible she escaped somehow?
All I know is she loved me. And if she had known a way out, she would have told me. She'd never have taken her own life. And there's no way anybody could have killed her under the Golden Rule. I can't prove it, but I just know she's still alive somehow. Even now, it's as if I can hear her voice in my head, crying out to me. That can only mean one thing. Somebody abducted her. I have no idea how, or who would want to do something like that to such a sweet, lovely girl. But what else could have happened?
Any ideas about who might have taken her?
My guess? Malleolus had something to do with it. He is without doubt the most evil man I have ever known. I have no idea where he'd be keeping her, but there is one room in his villa, upstairs, which is always locked. I've never seen the inside of it, and I haven't been able to steal a key without breaking the Golden Rule. But I have a feeling that if you could get in there somehow, it would shed light on a great many things.
Already tried that. There's no sign of Scintilla in there.
Really? I was sure he was hiding something in there. I feel like I've looked everywhere. At least everywhere I could get to. There are still two places I've never been able to reach. First, the palace. If Navia managed to get in, then I suppose Scintilla could have too. The only other place she could be is somewhere in the cistern network. I remember hearing that Dooley had been poking around in the upper cistern before he was locked up. So you could ask him about it, I suppose.
I'll see what I can do. What's your story?
You mean where am I from and all that? Judea, originally. But when I was a child, I moved to Rome with my family, Romanized my name and spent most of my life in the Jewish district of Trans-Tiberim, across the Tiber from the main city. That's where I was when the fires broke out. Everyone was running toward the river and I, listening to my inner contrarian, ran the other way. Every road leading out of Rome was in chaos, full of people with all their belongings in carts and brigands preying on them. Several hours down the Appian Way, I saw another Jewish family being attacked by 3 opportunists. So I picked up a branch from the side of the road and went to defend them. I can only assume they got the better of me because the next thing I knew, I was waking up in a forest, by a river not far from here, with no memory of how I got there. It's strange though, because I still had my purse on me. Why would a robber knock me unconscious and throw me in a river, but not take my coins?
Good on you for risking your life now. That's odd. Most of the others were in Rome before they woke up in the forest, but you saying you were several hours away?
You're right. I always just assumed the river carried me, but I'm not sure I was anywhere near the Tiber when I fell. I'm sure it'll all make sense if we ever get out of here.
Do you have any ideas, any more ideas about where Scintilla might be?
I feel like I've looked everywhere. At least everywhere I could get to. First, the palace. I remember...
Let's see what I can do. Do you know where out of here?
I don't. But even if I did, I'm not going anywhere. I have unfinished business.
What do you think about the Golden Rule?
Neither of us have a couple of hours to stand around talking about theology, law, and collective punishment, so I guess you're looking for a pithy summary? You remind me of an old story from my people about Hillel the Elder. He was approached by a Gentile and asked to explain the entire Torah while he stood on one foot. Obliging, he replied, "What is hateful to you, do not do to another. That is the whole Torah. The rest is commentary. Go and learn." Of course, what I want to know is, what kind of a god sees a young woman abducted and does nothing about it? Not my god. That's for sure.
I don't know she was abducted for sure.
Maybe you don't. I feel it in my bones.
Who are you going to vote for?
Sentius, I suppose. I'd have to be insane to vote for Malleolus after what he did to me.
Fair enough. I'll be going now.
All right, friend. Thanks for the chat.
Nice. I need to chat to the priestess. Where the hell is Galerius?
Isn't the great temple majestic? Ave again. Did you find what you need?
I've been asking people about how they wound up
And
here.
did you notice anything? A pattern?
Some people mentioned a queen.
Yes. I suppose that could be something. But then most of us do tend to carry coins on our person, don't we? What else?
Some people mentioned memory lapses.
That's true. I know I wasn't entirely sure how I wound up here. It's as I feared. I think I understand what poor Livia has been going through. You mentioned earlier, you met a young woman in the forest named Karen, yes?
That's right.
I see. And was this Karen, by any chance, wearing a hood?
She was wearing a hoodie. How could you have known that?
Because I've seen her before. There's something I think you should see. I think you'd better follow me to the baths.
Alright, I'll meet you in the baths.
But don't follow too closely. We can't have people thinking we're bathing together.
I'll give you some space.
I hope you're coping.
All right, you're here. You were asking how I knew the young woman you met by the river was wearing a hood. Here, look down at the bottom of the baths. It's a little hard to make out in this light. If only we could see. Oh, what a marvelous lamp. But do you see it? Somebody waking up by a river in a forest to find a hooded figure with a coin. It's just as you described it, only your pronunciation is a little off. The name you heard wasn't Charon. It was C-H-A-R-O-N, as in Charon, the ferryman of the dead. Charon, who, in exchange for the right coin, helps the souls of the newly deceased cross the Styx, the river that separates the land of the living from the land of the dead.
When I dragged you out of the river, I thought you were never gonna wake up. I checked your pockets for ID, but all I found was some loose change. Feels like I've spent my whole life in a dead-end job with an endless commute. Sorry if I sounded cagey, it's just that I don't always get the best reactions when I introduce myself. My name's Karen.
There are a bunch of old stories about the gods punishing people by making them do the same futile task over and over. But, on the bright side, at least you're not stuck in the underworld like they all were.
I'm so sorry, my friend. I'm so sorry. I take it you know what this means.
They all died.
I'm afraid so. It's all starting to make sense. All these people whose last memory was running from the fires toward the river. It seems none of them escaped with their lives after all. Perhaps we should be grateful they don't remember their final moments. It also tells us that the Golden Rule is the work of Pluto, the god of the underworld, and why his epithet has always been Father of Riches. I know it's a lot to take in, and you look as if you have questions, so I'll try to answer them if I can.
So we did?
That was my first thought too. In the old stories, the underworld was where the souls of the deceased were taken. But it was also possible for the living to reach it without dying, if they were particularly fearless. So I'm afraid I don't know.
What can you tell me about Karen?
Oh, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting you're not from here. If you were Roman, or even Greek, you would know these stories. Each of them is slightly different, whether the storyteller was Plato, Homer, Virgil, or Ovid. But they always involved the souls of the dead meeting a grim ferryman named Charon on the bank of a river. It was said that he'd help the new arrival cross, only if they could pay him with a coin, an obol. That's why it was once our custom to bury our loved ones with a coin in their mouths. Charon's obol, we called it. Of course, an obol was a kind of Greek coin, because we inherited this knowledge from the Greeks.
Why didn't you all recognize Karen immediately?
To be fair, the ferryman isn't exactly as the poets described, and he, she, they seem to appear to different people in different guises. You say you saw a young woman named Karen with a hood, and I once heard Kabash mention a stranger in a ram headdress named Kerti, and Rufius described meeting a stranger named Kumut Tabal wearing an eagle headdress. But whatever form this stranger took, they were always wearing a hood of some sort, and their name always began with a K sound. I suspect the only way you'll solve this riddle is if your paths cross again.
Why are there so few people in the underworld?
Good question. Let's see. In the stories, Charon would always require a coin as payment for passage across the river, but that never made any sense to me. What does an ancient immortal being need with coins? In our case, it seems Charon didn't take the coins we had. He or she merely checked we had one in our possession. So, maybe there's something special about the coins each of us had on us. That might explain why we wound up here, but so many others did not.
Were you trying to keep this from me?
No. I mean, I had my suspicions, especially after Livia's ramblings, but I would never have figured it out without your help. I promise you.
That's all the questions I
Now
had.
that we know where we are, we have to figure out what to do about it if we don't want to be cast into gold for eternity. We don't have much to go on, except the old stories. I remember 4 in particular about heroes in the underworld. Hercules, the demigod and son of Jupiter. Orpheus, a Thracian poet. Sisyphus, a king of Ephyra. And Aeneas, a Trojan hero. Hercules was able to leave the underworld because he cowed its god with his strength. Sisyphus and Orpheus both relied on their wits instead. They persuaded the goddess of the underworld, Proserpina, to help them escape. And finally, Aeneas was able to escape with the help of a spirit guide, who led him through a secret gate. So it seems you have 2 options: to confront the god of the underworld head-on, or find a way to escape with the help of Proserpina or some other guide.
Can't we just escape the way we came in?
It's a reasonable question, but the problem is, this place is fairly well designed to keep us here. There's no way to climb up the shaft. And even if you could build a ladder big enough, just trying it would break the golden rule. We know that, thanks to the writings left behind by those who've tried.
I've noticed you seem uncomfortable calling the god of the underworld by his name. Why is that?
All Romans try to avoid saying it, and the reason is quite simple. He might hear us. You may refer to him as Pluto, if you wish, but you'll only be calling attention to yourself. Do so at your own peril.
Tell me more about confronting Pluto head-on.
Shh! Is everyone so blunt where you're from? Oh. That option would be the boldest, but also the only way to learn the truth about the Golden Rule, and maybe even put an end to it. As I said, Hercules managed to overpower the god of the underworld, but he was a demigod. Forgive my candor, but you are no Hercules.
Hercules could manipulate time or turn organic matter into gold. I have a few tricks up my sleeve.
Are you telling me that you can? I won't pretend to understand exactly what that means, but if that's true, then perhaps you stand a chance. So, if you want to confront him, I'll help you as much as I can. Who knows? Perhaps your name will be uttered in the same sentence as Hercules one day. But first, you'd need an audience with you-know-who, and for that, you'll need to enter the great temple overlooking the city. The problem is, the door has been sealed shut for as long as I've lived here, and there doesn't even seem to be a keyhole. I suspect the answer lies in the desecrated obelisk in front of it. I'm not sure if you noticed, but there are 4 plaques missing from its base. It looks as though somebody, or a series of somebodies, forcibly removed them, and in doing so, dishonored and angered our divine keeper. If you could recover and replace all 4 of those missing plaques, I imagine he might be willing to receive an audience again.
What can you tell me about the obelisk?
It's the towering stone monument with 4 sides and a pyramid-shaped head that stands before the great temple, a dedication to the god of this place. You'll find them all over Rome, but of course they were looted from Egypt many years ago. It seems one of them made its way here too, although how is a mystery. However, this one is unusual in that each of the 4 sides is decorated in a different style: Roman, Greek, Egyptian, and another I don't recognize. That means you'll need to recover 4 different plaques: Roman, Greek, Egyptian, and a 4th, a mystery plaque.
A Herculean toss. Where would I find the Roman?
Good question. To answer that, we first need to ask who would have defaced the obelisk in the first place. It would have had the god's name engraved into it, so it may be that whoever desecrated it wanted that name to be forgotten. And there's only one group of people I know of who might want to do that. There's a cult in Rome that often argued there is only one true god. Theirs, of course. They've been known to start fires, as well as deface religious monuments whose existence challenged their beliefs. If I were you, I'd go looking for them. Of course, they've all been in hiding since the fire last year, so finding them won't be easy. But I did hear a rumor they have a secret shrine somewhere in the city. Perhaps, if you could find that, you might be able to recover the Roman plaque.
Where would I find the Greek?
I don't know. But perhaps you should begin your search with the local Greek fellow, Georgius. His store is in the forum.
Where would I find the Egyptian block?
Perhaps Kabash, our Egyptian resident, would be able to tell us. Unfortunately, he disappeared weeks ago. But I did hear Aurelia is peddling rumors about him at the tavern, so perhaps you could talk to her, or just take a look in his room.
Where would I find the mystery block?
I'm afraid you're on your own with that one. But perhaps finding the other three will illuminate the way.
Let's talk about something else. Tell me more about escaping with the help of Proserpina or a guide.
As I mentioned, both Orpheus and Sisyphus were said to have persuaded Proserpina to help them escape, and Aeneas was guided to the exit. The problem is, those are the stories of a poet, a self-aggrandizing king, and a brawler about their own heroic deeds, so they should be taken with a grain of salt. First, Proserpina. What we do know about her is, well, it's a grim tale. It's said the god of the underworld abducted and dragged her here against her will, forcing her into marriage.
So she might be willing to work against him to help us?
If the stories are true, then I suppose so. The problem is, how do we communicate with her without being noticed by her captor? Leaving that aside for a moment, there is also the possibility of a spirit guide. I don't suppose you've come across one of those in your travels?
I hear the female statues whispering to me every now and then.
Truly? And you're only bringing this up now? Then again, I suppose you were worried I'd think you were as mad as Navia. Can you tell me more? Is it the same voice? What kinds of thing does it say?
It's always the same voice, and she's helpful, if a little cryptic.
Fascinating. Perhaps she's a benevolent spirit. Or perhaps... Perhaps you're hearing the voice of Proserpina herself. If she has indeed been abducted, it would make sense for her to speak in cryptic whispers to avoid detection. Tell me, has she told you anything that might lead you to the way out?
Not yet.
Oh, I see. Well, let me know if you hear anything that might be a thread through this labyrinth.
Alright, I'm ready to get started.
Alright. I would suggest not discussing this with anyone. The best we can do for them is to let them remain oblivious for as long as possible. As for Livia, it seems she's been shouldering the weight of this terrible secret all this time. Perhaps it would comfort her to know she's not alone.
I'll have a chat with Livia first. I'll start looking for the Roman plaque. I'll start by listening for more whispers. I'll have a chat with Livia first.
In any case, time is of the essence, so you'd best begin. May Fortuna guide you. Although you may not need her with Proserpina on your side.
I think I've broken this game.
Again. Did you find what you need?
What did I do? Someone wanted me to give you this flower.
Oh, how lovely. It just happens to be my favorite, too. Who do I have to thank for this?
I'm supposed to tell it from your secret admirer, and that they'll keep their distance. I just wanted you to know that you're loved.
I see. So, it's from Galerius, then?
You'll already know?
Of course I do. I think everyone in the city knows. That man is a wonderful human being, and my favorite person in the world. But he is the least subtle secret admirer you could imagine. The way he looks at me with those puppy dog eyes. Plus, he's been trying for weeks to get his hands on this flower. He went to so much effort, too. Suspending that rope above the lake, inventing that pulley device all on his own. He'd just stand there each morning, looking at the flower, trying to summon the courage to seize it. Oh, my heart.
I just broke the scheme. I'm like stuck underwater. So what should I tell him?
Tell that adorable oaf that my Vestal's vow of chastity ends once I turn 36. So if we ever make it out of here, and he doesn't mind waiting a few years, then tell him I love him too.
The chick is dying. I'm stuck. I'm stuck in this weird thing. I'm sure you'll be happy to hear that.
I hope so.
Can I ask some questions about escaping out of the world?
Certainly.
Right, I'm gonna get back to
May
it.
Fortuna guide you, although you may not need her with Proserpina on.
Wow, that was weird. I'm just gonna talk to this chick quickly and then I'm done. Wade against the current. I'm just gonna chat to Livia quickly and then that's a wrap for this episode. I wanted to know she's not alone. Taking the scenic route.
You, Sisyphus, attack or pursue just as the ocean accepts the river, but it...
I figured it out. I know where we are.
Say it. Speak its name.
The underworld.
Then it is true. I was right.
You were.
I thought I saw it, but when the rest of them could not, I kept thinking I must have gone insane. I had to tell myself it was true over and over again, until I wasn't sure if I was deceiving myself. I must apologize if my words seem cryptic. I'd found comfort in reciting the Metamorphoses by our great poet Ovid. He gives such an uncanny description of this place. I cannot help but wonder if he himself came here. Would you like to hear it?
Sure.
I will do my best to remember the relevant verse. There is a downward path, gloomy with fatal yew trees. It leads through dumb silence to the infernal regions. The sluggish Styx exhales vapor, and by that way, the shadows of the newly dead descend, entombed with full rites, and the ghosts of those, at last, given proper burial. The wide, thorny waste is cold and pallid, and the newly arrived shades are ignorant of the road that leads to the Stygian city, where Black Dis has his cruel palace. As the ocean accepts the rivers of all the world, so this place accepts all the souls, and is never too small for any populace, nor notices the crowds that come. There the bloodless shadows wander without flesh or bone. Others, and now we
Resolved. can finish this one quickly. I just have to talk to this dude. Galerius, I have some good news for you.
Fortune smile on you, sister. Salve again, friend. How is it possible?
I'm reliving the same day over and over again.
You're a Sisyphus.
Remind me who that is?
Sisyphus was a Greek king a long time ago, but he was forced to push a great bowl, forcing Tantalus. Oh. Anyway, I don't know which god you managed to upset to get yourself. So,
thanks, Galerius.
Anytime, friend. Now, I'm going to keep your secret. Oh, and if our
Okay, I need to talk to you again.
I saw you slide down that and anyway, I'm sorry to.
I've already delivered the flower to a creature on your behalf.
What? How did you know? Oh, I see. We talked about it in a previous loop, didn't we? Well, what did she say?
She knew it was from you. She asked me to tell you that when she turns 36, she's allowed to marry and that she loves you too.
Venus, that is the best news I've ever heard in my life. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. You have no idea how happy you've made me. I wish there was something I could do to thank you properly, but I don't have much to offer you. All I can do is tell you where there's a secret stash of coins you might be interested in.
I'm listening.
In the rock tunnel, near the stairs, there's a little doorway set into the rock. Inside, if you look carefully, you can see a chest. Unfortunately, one of those golden huntress statues is blocking the path, and I'm not game to move it. If you can figure out how to get past it, I reckon there might be a small fortune waiting for you. I hope that helps in some way.
You know the way out of here.
As much as I'd love to get out of here, the harvest's always more fruitful in another man's field, isn't it? But Centilla, Sentius's daughter, went missing a few weeks back. Could be she found a way out. If anyone knows for sure, it'll be her sister, Sentia. But she'd never tell the likes of me.
What do you think about the golden
dwarf? Oh, I don't give it much thought these days. I mean, everybody here's got their own view about what we need to do to survive. But I say, let's spend less time arguing about what it means to be good and just get on with it, you know?
What do you think about the election?
I can't see how I could vote for either candidate. I don't like Sentius much, but Malleolus is almost as bad. Even I could do a better job. Me, a farmer. And I've never given a speech or put on a toga in my life.
What's your story?
Well, it's a long one and kind of sad, but I don't mind telling it.
I have time.
I'm a farmer. Always have been. I grew up in a small village in Britannia, Camulodunum, with my parents and two little sisters. Lovely part of the world.
On your best behavior,
One day,
I trust.
when I was about 20, my father and I were in the top paddock, loading our cart, when some Roman legionaries came along, demanding produce for their men. My father told me to run into the house for his axe, and so I did. Sprinted so fast I almost threw up. But by the time I got back, he was bleeding out on the ground, and our cart was empty. That was my first encounter with the legions. My mother died of a broken heart soon after, and things went downhill from there. I took over the farmstead, but I was young. It was a struggle. More raiding started before too long. We'd come outside in the morning to find animals missing, our stores pillaged. These Legion thugs just took whatever they wanted. One night, when my sisters and I had nothing left to steal, there was a knock at the door. I knew who they were, and what they wanted. I got my father's old axe, pulled the door open real quick, and before that soldier knew it, split his face right down the middle. But there were more of them. I never saw how many, because the next thing I knew, I was waking up with a mouth full of dirt and lungs full of smoke. My home was reduced to ash. My sisters, dead. And they left me alive to see what they'd done. Still burns whenever I think about it. Yeah, well, I wasn't the only one this happened to. It wasn't long before Boudica led thousands of Britons in a rebellion against the Romans. Unfortunately, there were just too many of them. And those of us who survived, they enslaved. So, then I found myself I spent a few years working for my new master, learning the Romans' ways. Tried to escape a couple of times, but they always could probably still be there too, if it wasn't for the stampedes breaking out. Everybody was running down toward the river, screaming and shouting. I got swept up with them somehow. Next thing I knew, some stranger was dragging me out of a river. Stumbled across this place and started my life over again.
Okay, I think
that's what I thought too, for a while. But it seems the gods aren't done tormenting me yet. See, I finally had my own farm again, safe from the... until Sentius the Decurion demanded I hand over all my produce. It's for the good of us all, he says. Only he takes the best bits for himself, of course. He even told me if I refuse his demands, I'll break the golden rule. I'm not sure I believe him, so it turns out our dear old magistrate is no better than the Legion Thug. But don't you worry, Nemesis is waiting. Forget I said that last part, will you? I get carried away sometimes.
Sure.
Thanks, friend. I knew I liked you. Anyway, that's enough of me rambling. Was there something else you wanted to talk about? All right, friend. Hope you find a way to break that cycle you're in.
Alrighty. Played many hours today. And we have many more tasks to do. And we shall continue that tomorrow. So I'll see you then. Thanks for coming along and enjoy what's left of enjoy what's left of your evening. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Everybody telling me to try. Hold on, this is just a fact. The game over, it's a wrap. Yeah, the game over, it's a wrap. Everybody telling me to try. Hold on, this is just a fact. The game over, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Know about that record. It's fine, cash, motherfuckers on the radio.